Hello everyone, I'm Shoham, and this is a joint work with Yehuda Afek, Anat Bremler-Barr, and Yuval Shavitt. In this talk, I'm going to present a flashing attack on the DNS cache. That's a unique new attack on DNS recursive resolvers. So, previous DDoS attack was on communication and packet amplification, meaning that one packet that's sent from a malicious attacker create multiple packets in the recursive resolver, or a CPU load, a complexity in the recursive resolver. We know that cache is a key factor for performance of DNS, and we're targeting the resolver cache. We're targeting the benign cache and not the negative cache. We will later on this talk will present the differences. And in this attack, malicious client sent a small request to a malicious authoritative name server, and it repeatedly inject a huge answers and flash the cache. So here is the example. You see the recursive cache, and you see the same domains asking a request again and again. And here you can see a malicious, the malicious attack that flashing the cache. And you can see that the same domains need to be request again because they are not performing in the cache. And there is a cache miss that is repeated as long as the attack continued. That's what we called flashing the cache. In our paper, we present two versions of the attack, CacheFlush and S attack, that one malicious request create 1,500 records in the benign cache, and CNAME attack with 17 records in the benign cache. In this talk, I will present only the first one. So a few DNS background. So how does it work to when we query a regular domain? So the client asks for cs.ucla.edu, and it asks the root servers that give the IPs of the TLDs authoritative name servers. Then he asks the TLDs and get the IP of the SLDs. And finally, the SLDs are answering with the correct IP of cs.ucla.edu, and the recursive resolver send it back to the client. This is how DNSs work. You can see that we know that the cache is crucial for recursive efficiency, for the throughput, and for low latency. So it doesn't need to repeat those domains that are frequently asked over and over again because they are in his cache. When the domain is not exist, so the recursive resolvers asking for, here in this example, nx.ucla.com, and the SLDs answering, this domain does not exist. So here you can see this is the negative cache, and the recursive resolver save this answer in his negative cache. We separate the negative cache from the benign cache. All the recursive resolver separate that because of non-existent attacks. This attack, also called water torture, is it's an attack that you ask just random domain that does not exist, and this is why we have this separation between those cache. Commonly, TLDs are answering with referral response. Referral response says that, okay, I don't know the IP address, or there are multiple answers for this domain, so please ask those SLDs. And this is how it looks in the cache. You can see that those 4 domains are saved in the cache as NS records. We use this referral response in our attack. So how our attack look like? You can see here 3 components. The attacker, the malicious attacker, recursive resolver, this is the benign, and you can see on the right the authoritative name servers. So the attacker asking for a malicious domain, e1.attack.com in this case, and the malicious authoritative name server is answering with a long referral response. Here you can see the length of the list is 1,500 domains. It's limited by the TCP size of a packet. So the recursive resolver saves all these 1,500 domains in his cache. Afterward, he's asking for the first 20 domains. This 20 is a limitation that is mitigation for another attack called NS attack. The recursive resolver saves also these 20 domains in his cache. And finally, because there is no answer, so the domain is finally saved in the negative cache. What we did in our attack, we used multiple attackers, asking multiple domains, and the recursive resolvers get multiple answers and save all of them in his cache. A little background about the evolution of those kind of attacks. So we talked about the NX domains attack, the resource is the cache and it make a complexity attack. They use NX queries, non-existent queries, and the mitigation was just use the negative cache and this attack will not affect your recursive resolvers. In 2020, NX-NS attack is a packet amplification that use large NX referral response like we saw here. And the mitigation was, okay, limited to query only 20. Last year, NR delegation attack, non-responsive attack. It's a complexity on the CPU. They use large NR referrals, and the mitigation was, okay, just limit it to 5 at once. Our attack is targeting the benign cache. In the paper, we use large NR. That was the example I just present, and a large CNAME list. And the mitigation was just cache only the first 20. This year, there was also a key trap attack. It's a CPU complexity attack that used the DNS signature, and the mitigation was to limit the verification. So when the domains are removed from the cache, so here is an illustration of what is happening. A cache miss occurs when the cache is flushed before the domain queried again. So here we can see an example that the cache google.com is in the cache, and we start flushing the cache with our attack. And while we are flushing the cache, and we didn't finish flushing, the google.com was queried again because it frequently asked. So google.com go up in the cache, and there was no a cache miss. A different option is, for example, here usenix.com. We start flushing the cache, and while we are flushing, usenix.com does not query it again, and we manage to flush the cache. And here, a cache miss will occur when the usenix.com will query it again, and then the recursive resolver need to query all the circle from the root to the TLDs to the SLDs all over again for this usenix.com domain. Here is the example of the results of our paper. This is for a 2 gigabyte cache size on Unbound. You can see the throughput reduce and the cache miss increased. So for mitigation, the core problem we can see is that 1,500 entries are saved in the cache and flush the cache, but only 20 are used. So we suggest to keep only 20 in the cache We did a responsive disclosure with bind and unbound, and they now fix it and patch this vulnerability, and the entries of the cache, they decide to limit it to 100. So to summarize it all, CacheFlush attack is a new type of attack that targeting the benign cache. All our attack setup and measurements are in the artifact, and we are suggesting that if researchers want to check and see the results and make further research on that, here's the link, and you can use it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions.